Hi, in this video I'll be talking about how we can estimate the root of a function using spreadsheet calculations. So here for illustration we only look at one specific example, which is the van der Waals equation of state given by this equation where P is the pressure, A is a constant, V is the volume of a gas, B is another constant, R is the gas constant, and T is the temperature. Van der Waals equation of state relates temperature, volume to pressure using this equation. So our goal is to find AV for specific pressure and temperature. In other words, if temperature and pressure is given, what would be the volume such that this equality holds? To find that volume, we're going to convert this equation into something like this, where I subtracted RT from both sides here. So for the bottom equation, we get P plus A over V squared times V minus B, and then minus RT equals 0, which you can see that I subtracted R times T from both sides. So the goal is find V such that this left-hand side will be 0. Okay, so to do that, we're going to create two columns in Excel. One column is going to be the V values, and one column is going to be f of V. Then we're going to plot f of V against V and look at where the function is almost 0, which means where this equality holds. So here's my column V. I start from 0.5, and I need to evaluate the f of V, which is this function here, for this V value. So to do that, I'm going to click on this cell and start with equality sign, so put equals. And then I'll have to rewrite this equation in Excel. In Excel, every cell has an address. Like this cell is going to be called by the column first and then the row index the second. So this cell has the address of E2. Or this cell, you can see that has the address E6. Or this cell has the address G5, right? Column G, row 5. Alright, so to do that, I have to call every variable here by the address. P, where is P? P is E3. So either you can type E3, like so, or you can just click on this cell. Okay, I'll show you in the next selection. So the next is plus. I'm going to type plus. And then A, so my A is going to be this cell, and this time instead of typing it, I'm going to click on the value. So just click on this cell, not that one. This one is the name of the variable or the character. This one is the value of the variable. So I'm going to click on the value, not the name. Alright, so click on that. That's going to be A, and divide by, we'll type the slash, and then V. So my V is going to be this cell, and then raise the second power, and close the parentheses. I forgot to open it here, and then times V, which is this cell, minus B is going to be E6. I'm going to click on that, close the parenthesis, minus R, so here's R, and then times T, which is this cell. I'm going to click on that cell. Alright, so I'm going to hit enter now. This is the value of the function for V equal 0.5. So next I'm going to generate another V value. So let's say we increment this by 0.25. So the next value is going to be 0.75. So the increment is 0.25. Now we have to retype this equation we had here now for this cell. But that is time consuming. I don't want to do that. The shortcut is you just click on this cell and you hover your mouse on the lower right corner of this box until you see this black cross. This is the black cross. You hold down your mouse key, the left mouse key, and so you hold it down and then just drag it down one cell and let it go. So once you let go, then it's going to duplicate the equation we typed here now for this cell. The way that Excel does it is, as you drag down, it's going to rewrite this equation by shifting all the numerical index one level up. That means If in here we had E3, in the following cell we're going to have E4 in place of this variable. If we have E5 here, in the bottom cell here, the equation will be E6 because, as I said, every index is going to go up by one level. If I have, let's say, E6 here in this place, in the following equation, the following cell, if I click on that, you see that becomes E7. So if I just switch back and forth, you see that all the indices go up by one level as I drag down. So that is actually incorrect, because if I click on that, this equation is not going to be the Van der Waals equation anymore. All the variables have been shifted, which I don't like. What I like is I just want to shift the v value from A2 to A3, but I want to keep all these constant the same. So to do that, I go back to my first equation, and everywhere I don't want to have a change in the numerical index of the variable, I type a $ behind the numerical index. Like here, I don't want E3 to change because E3 is the R constant, the gas constant, and that is not going to change. So I'm going to put $ behind 3, $ behind 5, behind E5, $ behind 6 in E6, behind 2 in E2, and behind 4 in E4. So then, if you hit enter now, and then go back and click on this cell and hover your mouse on the lower right corner and drag down, then this cell, if you click on that, and then you go back and forth, you see that the only variable that is changing here is just A2 to A3, and that is basically I'm changing the value of V from here to here. Everything else which is coming from this table should be constant, and that's what it is. So this equation is correct now. Alright, next is I'm going to highlight these two, drag the lower right corner of this box few cells down up to maybe, let's say 4.5. So you see that Excel populates everything with the increment of 0.25 without typing anything, by just dragging down. Now here I'm going to click on this cell and double click on the lower right corner. So it's going to populate it all the way down until it levels out at row equal 18. Alright, so we're going to stop at row equal 18. Alright, so now I have the V values, I have the FV values, I'm going to plot them. So just highlight these two columns together. Then you go to Insert, and then Charts. By the way, I'm using Excel in Mac. If you have Windows, these buttons might be a bit different, maybe somewhere else, but they definitely exist somewhere in your Windows version. If you have even Mac version, but maybe the most recent version for Excel, this is 2016 that I'm using. If you have 2017 or 18 or 19 or 20, then the buttons might be different. You have to look for it, but more or less you're going to see somewhere where you have Insert, and then you have to find, Charts and insert the chart after you select the two columns. So I'm going to go and find charts here. Here we go. Let's see, did it insert the chart? Where is it? Not here. So let's do it again. I'm going to highlight these two with the header. And then, okay, so here's my charts ribbon. I'm going to click on Scatter. And then in the Scatter, there's a smooth mark scatter. I'm going to click on that. There you go. So here's my data. It has the title of f of v, which is this guy. And a bit smaller, I want to increase the font a little bit more. So I'm going to click on the x-axis, go to Home, increase the font to 18, click on the y-axis, increase the font by 8 to 18, and then let's stretch this guy a bit more. I don't want these cross lines, let's click on that and then hit backspace. There you go, so this is the function I have. My y-axis as of now doesn't have a label, my x-axis also doesn't have a label, so if you want a label for them, you just click on that, go to Chart Layout, and then Axis Title. For the vertical axis, I'm going to have vertical title, and then let's put f of v, and the font is small, So let's change the font to 18 as well. I need to stretch this guy. I think I need more room, so let's stretch this a bit more. A bit here. Okay, so I think instead of vertical, let's go and change them to horizontal title, vertical title. Yeah, I think vertical should be fine. I need to stretch this guy a bit. Can I do that? Okay, let's work on the x-axis. So I'm going to put the horizontal x-axis below it. Here's my X title. And I'm going to increase the font here to 18. And I'm going to click on that and type V. So here's my V. I'm going to move it over here. And so here's my V axis. Maybe we can put it over here. So here's V. This one is F of V. I have to move it out. And still I cannot stretch this guy. Let's see. I'm going to stretch this guy. Alright, for the vertical title, I'm going to go to chart layout and then axis title. The vertical, let's do a rotated title. So here it is. I'm going to increase the font to 18. And I'm going to type, so I'm going to double click on that, double click. There's going to be F of V. There you go. So here's my Y title, X title. There you go. So you see that the function actually hits my x-axis at about between 4 and 5. So the estimate for the root is going to be somewhere between 4 and 5, maybe 4.2. You can also change the legend here. The way to do it, you click on your data, then right-click on your mouse, then you go to select data, and then here you just type F of V. I think this is fine. There you go. So you see F of V here. Alright, if you want to change to something else, then you right-click on your data points, so go select, and then instead of here, you can just type, something else. You can say something else, and then you hit OK, and you see here something else. You can also increase the font to 18 as well. There you go. Alright, so the estimate for the root is going to be 4.2. I hope you learn how to do this in Excel, how to find or estimate the root of a function in Excel by plotting. In the next video, we're going to look at another technique to find the root of any function you want to find the root of. So stay tuned and thanks for watching.